Hello and welcome back to Building Morak and Lego. Last week, this is what we did. You can see here we took all of our individual sections, which I've built so far, and slammed them all together. Now, this week, you maybe notice if I glare over here, there's just a couple of bits missing here or there, such as this and all of this. So that's what's going to be our first challenge today. Also, there's just a hole here. So we'll plug that up and get this all looking good. Yeah, sounds like a plan. Let's hit the intro. Okay, so we've got our first little bit done. You can see I've just been building the filler on this side here. And you can see my nice hollow filler as always. As we like to see it, I've got my lime green on top because that'll be the grass colour. Even though this will probably be covered in much more details. Of course, this is not a final version. But now it's time to build the actual rock face into the mountain. Let's do it. Okay, I've uncovered a little bit of a problem with my mountain building technique here. You can see that I've started working this right side. It's all coming together quite nicely. And I'm filling up on the left side as well. But you can see, as I'm building some pieces, like there's one there, there's one back there, and there's another down there. The hole is now at a point where it's like so small I can't actually grab those pieces out anymore. Like, without like damaging it or breaking it or whatever. And I don't want to damage all the work I've already done, but I want to save those parts. Like, I'm trying to get the light in there, but yeah, there you go. There is a slope back there. There's one stuck in there, but like I can't reach it because my hands are too big and too chubby. Oh, nope. See, things are popping off. Oh, and I'm pushing it further away. This is horrific. No, I won't be able to get to that leaf either. I'm just knocking over more pieces as I do it. This is the struggles of mock building, folks. Okay, so I'm going to name my progress off tonight with saying that I finally got this rock wall done. It's currently 24 minutes past 1 in the morning. I swear I started this individual section about about 10 o'clock. So about 3.5 hours I've gone into just this. If that looks like 3.5 hours work to you, it shouldn't. Oh my goodness, that's so embarrassing. But that is the actual rock wall finished for these two light blue square base plates. You can see with the crack here. This will go on a little bit further, and as I've said many times before, this is not perfect. It's very basic rock work, but that's fine. Okay, I'll see you tomorrow to work on this gap. Okay, it wasn't the last thing I made tonight because I made this structure here, which is basically, and you figured I needed an actual place to put my battery box because that was a massive issue in the last mock. So I've decided to basically just gut out this hole here, and you can see there's a nice gap in the floor there. That's where this tower is going to go. So I'm just going to show you the exact process. Lifting it up, placing it in, just like that. That'll fit in. I'll secure it down and find out its exact point, but there you go. And then those are the cables. I'll attach that on top of there, and that'll power both the motor which goes to the skiffs, and if you look down there you can just about see the big boy motor which charges this thing. There we go, and that'll be the switch where I can basically control it all from. Happy days. Now we need to deal with this hole. Yay. And also the Technic function above it. And now you may be thinking, is this another Technic episode?
You're joking. Not another one? Oh, for God's sake, I can't stand this.
The answer to that question is no, hopefully. Basically, tonight I'm planning to do a live stream, and hopefully in that live stream, this will be completely finished. I want to finish this Technic function entirely within the course of that stream, so I don't need to deal with it anymore. Right, so here's the time-lapse footage, hopefully, of that stream, and then it will cut to me showing this perfectly working, right? After that stream, I believe the mock is currently in a position where this Technic function's done. You can see that this one on the left has been moved slightly, meaning of it to redo all of this, and the one on the right is moved forward to the right, by one stud, because all that'll fit without these two things hitting each other. So let's turn this on and see if they will actually all work without anything touching each other. 3, 2, 1. So look here first. That's not touching. Try it again. Not touching. And we'll look over here. And now you'll see they do get very close, but they don't actually touch. If you'll focus, see close, but not actually making contact. And see, I did it as close as possible. I can move them the other way as well. You can see there. Those have got quite a nice gap between them. And those two are not touching either. Not touching. It looks like they are, but I promise they're not. Yeah, they're not making contact. And this one isn't flopping over or spinning out or anything like that either. My Technic's starting to sound a little bit dodgy. I'm not exactly sure what that is. But I now need to start covering it up because I'm now going to basically be filling in this large hole. You can see I've started to get some plates out to work on that. I've had to reconfigure this whole area to get this battery box in, but now that's nice and accessible for me. And the other cable for the main function, which will sit on top of this, will just run under this hole as well. So it'll sit through there too. So now I'm going to patch up this hole here, all of these holes here, and all the stuff in the back as well, to hopefully create what looks like a flat surface. I'll see you then. I've encountered the worst state of Lego building that is impossible. That is my least favourite, probably ever. This is worse than all of the Technic failing thousands of times, is when a plate is uneven somewhere and you can't figure out what's causing it. So like this is all flat here, this is all flat here, this is all fine. The difference is between the plates on the two sides of that red Technic beam. That tan one there and that red one there are not at the same height, but they should be. The same as that green one and that tan one is not at the same height. I think the orange and the red one are, so I'm guessing the issue is over here, where these white and tan bricks are. The issue is that that piece is connected to the wall, which means to move one, I'd have to disconnect the entire wall again. And after I've just got the Technic perfect, I really don't want to do that. Okay, so I've gotten quite a good amount of work done in this back corner section over here, but I've kind of run into an issue because it's a building Morak update. Of course, I'm going to run into an issue that happens every single week. If we jump into this little section here, you'll notice this is the third component. Like there's one there, second one here, third one here. You'll notice that's the crack between the two base plates there. And I had to push this onto the next base plate so that I could make this wider and so that they wouldn't hit each other. However, that means that the Technic is still connected to the main function. So these base plates could only separate when I lifted up this small section and just pulled it out, which was quite easy to do because it's just on a 4x4 plate. However, by covering this section, it means it'll be a lot more difficult to get that out because you look at this one here, it's quite stuffed in there and won't be difficult. It'll be really difficult to get out because of all the Technic beams running under this. So I've taken the executive decision that these two base plates are just going to become one. Like, I'm not going to be taking these two apart at all. They're just going to be stuck together forever. So whenever I move this mock, these two pieces will stay together the entire time instead of them being two individual modular sections. Just because of this Technic beam, like literally that's all that's causing it. So I'll build some more supports on the bottom so that they actually stay together, the two sections, and they're not just held together by Technic pins. But yeah, that's where we are with this. Let's keep filling over the top. Okay, so you can see here I've pieced all of the pieces together, which is now down to just 4 pieces rather than the... Oh no, it's 5 pieces still because, well, it was 6 pieces, now it's 5 because I'm missing quite an important one. But you can see here I've basically plugged up all the holes, bar one, which were here. Like, we fixed this hole earlier, which I went into intense detail about, and we fixed all the hole in here as well as the Technic structure, and that's all working fine. So now I just need to add in my big brown section in the middle, because there's one thing I actually haven't taken into account yet, and that's how that lines up to the level I've built all of this at. Hence I've left a little gap in there, so hopefully it's not too bad. So let's do that. Okay, the brown log has been inserted into the mock, and if we squeeze over to the action point, what I'll call it, we'll look at how this all lines up. And you'll see that this level here should be runningly consistent to the bottom. But there's an issue. These 2 large Technic gears are slightly in the way of the pieces. So I'm guessing like that green plate is basically the beginning height of the rest of the level. So that's ideally where I want that lower brown plate to be, underneath those tooth pieces. So I think, I'm trying to work this out, I think it's just like a plate too low, this entire thing. So what I'm going to have to do is I'm going to have to lift this out. I can show you down here, it'll be a bit easier. You can see that's the platform there. I need to add a plate onto this piece here and have that plate going all the way around, and that being my level. Way to get this a bit taller. So that definitely won't be annoying to do all of that work for 1 plate and height difference. And then I'll be able to... It will mean I have to eventually boost up the height of everything here. But that was always going to happen anyway. So yeah, that's fun. Let's do that. Okay, so I have, if you can see here, I've raised up by a plate. I've also put these 2 blue 2x2 tiles in. Those are actually jumpers, which basically lock this into place and basically finds the correct place for this section to be. So I won't have to like finagle it around to find the exact right place. So it's just held in by 2 studs, so it can still be lifted out easily, but it won't move. Like, that'll be pretty sturdy where it is now. So I'm happy about that. But yeah, that you can see is all of this now pretty much level. This is that a bit higher, so that brown layer can basically be put on top of this section here to keep that consistent with these teeth going down it as well. So yeah, I'm pretty happy with how that looks. And that'll basically wrap it up for another week of building Morak. I'm so sorry. Like, for me, what I'm building right now isn't hugely interesting. Like, I'm getting quite tired of just building filler plate after filler plate after filler plate and just these large structural sections. But I know they're necessary to do. From next week onwards, we're going to be getting into the fun stuff, like detailings, grass, different plant stuff, foliage, trees. That's what's going to be working on next. So hopefully you can join me for that. But if you liked this week's update, like the video, that's what the like button's there for. Like for the end of that Technic function, hopefully. Comment if you think it looks good in the end, or if it doesn't. I don't know. And subscribe if you want to see all that foliage and fun stuff later. Thank you so much for watching. I really do appreciate it for you sitting through all of that. And goodbye.